So welcome everyone. This is part 4 of this project stock manager demo. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to save some data and then retrieve the data to display it in the database or in this table from the database. So to save data, you need to click on the button which will be giving the command of saving data, then choose event action performed, or you could even do that by simply double clicking on that button. So you're given a space where you write code, and in this space we are going to first of all get data from input spaces, and secondly we're going to send that data into the model class, and finally we're going to tell the DAO or controller class to save data, and at last we're going to add some additional commands that we want to happen whenever we save data. So sending data into the model class means to send data into this stock.java class inside the model package, and then we're going to tell the DAO or the class inside the controller class to save that data. We have lately seen the codes for saving data using this stock DAO, and now we're going to save data. And finally what we're going to do is to try to display that table from the database and display it in this graphical user interface table we have created. So first of all, we're going to create variables which will be holding data that we have from the table. This new variable I'm creating will be holding data from the text field, the first text field or the first combo box. So I'm going to write, because it is called type combo box, now say get selected item, then I say .toString, because normally data from combo boxes are not by default strings, so I have to cast them to strings. So here I'm going to say name text field.get text. So if you see this type combo box name text field, these are variables that I've created already when I was creating these components. You remember that I told you that we should change variable names for these components to be able to call them from the database. So this is what I did. So this type combo box is the one that you are seeing here in my code. So the next thing is, let me try to look from the table data to be able to be quick. The next thing is we're going to add the quantity, equals to quantity. It's a combo box. If it's a combo box, then we're going to say get selected item dot to string, and then it is the same with quality combo box dot get selected item dot to string, and then the price dot, the price is not a combo box, and here it is a text field, so maybe I might have named it wrongly, so I'm going to say price text field because it's a text field. So here, if I click space, control space, I'll be seeing the text field and get text, and then finally this date. So here is a more challenging thing we're going to do is to see how can we save a date. Normally these date choosers are normally not the same as this text field. So the data and the way we deal with these date choosers are not the same as we get data from a text field, just as simple as that. So the first thing we do is say simple date format. Then we say maybe date format new simple date format dot and in this date format we're going to specify the kind of date format we want to get. We want date format date into this kind of format, and then we're going to say string date equals to date format dot format the date. So which kind of date we're going to format is the date from the entry date chooser dot get date, and this is it. So what did we do here? We normally know that this form, when we select a date or choose a date, it is actually brought into this kind of format, but from the database, saving date is not saved in this kind of format. So what we need to do is to make sure we create another kind of format in which we'll be saving the date by taking this date and we transform it into another format so as to be able to save that date in the database. So these two lines demonstrate what we have been doing. So after we have caught the data from these text fields, combo boxes, and GDate choosers, what we need to do is to send that data into the model class, the stock class, which has these variables. We're going to save the data into these variables. So what we do is first call that class. It is called stock from the model package. Then we give it a name or we instantiate it, and then after instantiating that class, we choose the second alternative. We're going to directly give the data we have, the variables we have created directly into that class stock. So this is it. And after that, we're going to call the class stock.dao. You remember that this stock.dao class has a method called save that saves data from to the database using data that we have into the stock class. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that method to save data, but first of all, because that method is in this stock.dao class, we need to call it again. So after calling the class, we instantiate it, and after instantiate it, we save data. Now we can do anything in that class. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for the method to save. So we're going to say stock.dao dot save. So from here, we're done with saving data from the database. In few words, what we have done is we have caught or we have retrieved the data from this text fields, combo boxes, and date choosers. After getting that data, we send them to this model class called stock. And after sending them, we used that class to save data into the database using the stock.dao class and its method that saves data into the database. So additional commands that we can add here is to say that, like, whenever we save data, we get like a message that shows that we have successfully saved. Then we say saved. And what we need to is we need a method that will be displaying data after we saved it into the database. So if we need to display data from the database, we need to first retrieve it from the database. So what we need is first create a method that will be retrieving data into the database. The method can be created here. Just right under this constructor, and we're going to say private void display in table or in JTable, to mean that we're going to save data in the JTable, and then this method is going to be also called for every time we run the project. So this is why I put it into this constructor. So coming back, what we need to know about this stock manager, public stock manager constructor, is that everything that is inside this constructor has to run whenever the project is run. So in this init component method contain all these components that we have here. So when you run the project, all these components are prepared to be used. So this method is inside here. From the line 25 until line 175, we have the codes for these components. So because we want that for every time we will run the program, we want to see data that we have saved in the database being displayed into this table. What we need to do is we are going to also add this display in JTable method into this constructor so that it will be displayed whenever we run the program. And we also want that whenever we save something into the database, we're going to be displaying that data into the table. So we're going to also add that method here. Yep, so whenever we save, data is displayed in the table, and then we get a message telling us that it is saved. So I think that is pretty much it.